Hello and welcome to the Library of Chaos. I'm your curator and your guide, and today we will be taking a look at the second prologue in Teller's tale of the Icewind Dale. For this prologue, Teller discloses a bit more information. He tells us how the people of the Tin Towns blame the endless winter on the goddess Auril, the Frost Maiden. From what I can find, this deity is the goddess of winter and the cold. Her followers are few but violent cultists. This paranoia links to the events that begin our story. Our story opens in the town of Easthaven. Easthaven is the largest eastern town, with old settler-style buildings growing into a new frontier. Apparently, pickpocketing is legal here was a note that was made on the corners of the page. Someone stumbles into the town, a deer-like creature standing on two legs, seeming to only have braved the chill of being out of town due to some sort of desperation. At the town hall, the speaker was calling attention to the public execution of the wizard Dizan to be burned at the stake. Captain Arlagath, a half-elf military personnel, led the execution in order to bring warmth to the town, as per the town's tradition of burning the few to warm the many, which extended to their monthly sacrifice of sending a lottery winner to their doom in the icy coldness outside the town. The lottery included all residents of the town and was not limited in any way. Completely fair. Lavara followed the captain's orders. This was another military personnel. They had a obsidian body and hair and eyes apparently made of fire. Upon the order, they lit the wizard with a fire squirrel familiar. Soon, a new character by the name of Grant is introduced. A dragonborn with bronze scales and a long red robe would come walking towards the huge crowd, reading a book. They had a scroll in his tail and had one big and one small wing. He looked up from his book, wondering what all the commotion was about and why there were so many creatures gathered at one spot. As he put his book away, Grant and Jack, which is the name of that previously mentioned deer creature, joined the crowd. In this cold, there was no hesitation. The sacrifice had fulfilled its purpose. The captain from before had received new orders to seek out a few volunteers to look for the bodies of 4 fishermen who had gone missing. She asked Jack, who brought Grant along, and a small fairy in a mime attire, missing her shadow, by the name of Chouette, I believe. French is not one of my greatest languages. Chouette. The 4 of them found a ship crashed west of town near a cavern, which they entered. In the process, they woke the giant skeleton frozen in ice. They were able to dispatch the undead before it truly awoke and broke free from the ice. Continuing on, they located their fishermen. They were in a pot of a hag, cooking them without fire in a stew of sorts. Lavara had the party split off and surround the hag. Once they had her flanked, they attacked. Using magic and a few other means, they were able to kill the hag by shoving her into her own pot of stew. Poetic. During that fight, though, Lavara appeared to have taken on a somewhat extra-elemental aspect. Her hair and eyes that were once flat, full of fire, now flurried and flowed with an icy blue, for she took an ice knife and cut her own throat. The party was shaken, but they took a second to explore the cave, showing them paintings of creatures that no longer walk the world's surface, as well as an image of giants who fled the cold by utilizing the hot springs. After that, they took Lavara's body and what they could retrieve of the fishermen and headed back to town towards Easthaven. After so flawlessly dispatching very powerful enemies, of course the party nearly meets their end, attempting to cross an ice bridge. After that was concluded, the party collected the reward from the captain. While they were collecting it, they heard someone in town mention ice knives being found in hearts, similar to the blade Lavara had used. Another townsperson mentions the Aurora Borealis, which the captain responds, that wasn't always there. Curious. They received some sort of magic bag from the captain and then took shelter in Grant's home within the town. They discussed what they wanted to do. Grant wanted to finish his book, and Schwed wanted to make people smile. Oh. This next bit of the script has been damaged. Unfortunate, I would have loved to see their motivations. Anywho, the damage ends about the time that they wake up the next day. They headed to town of Goodmead. On their way, they came across a halfling that called himself Ronaldo. He owned the inn in Easthaven and wanted to invite them to a seance. They were not particularly experienced in this practice, and their chanting did not keep the ghost known as the White Lady contained, and she lashed out and attacked. They appear to take it down, but the halfling says that she'll be back. Apparently, he regularly held these seances to try and find someone strong enough to destroy her. They tell him off because of his endangering of people. He skitters off and they continue towards Goodmead, which I did not mention this last time, but that is the town the party from the first prologue is heading. And that is where Teller's Tales ends its second prologue. Soon we will begin the main body of the story, but until then, I have been your curator and your guide. Farewell, until next time, from the Library of Chaos.